Welcome to the show. Today we are going to discuss about the upcoming budget that naturally the entire nation is looking towards the finance minister, that how he is going to present the new budget and what is going to be a good news for them. I have a very prominent guest with me, Dr. Ikram al-Haq. He's an economist, tax law expert, and he is contributing to the LUMS as a faculty member. Thank you very much, sir, for joining me. Can you please tell me that is there anything that you consider would be a kind of a relief for the masses, that people are looking towards the government, that how this new budget is going to bring something good news for them?
Thank you very much. The real issue is how to control inflation, because people are more concerned with inflation than anything else, because their daily life is affected by the prices of commodities they use. So for them, other things, what is primary surplus or what is stability, these words are just meaningless for them. But problem with Pakistan is that we know we cannot control inflation because of external pressure we have now on petroleum products. Since war is going on in a way that tensions are there, and still supply line from Strait of Hormuz is not taking place in full. And even if it settles today, there are clear indications that at least for 1 year, there will not be stabilization in the prices. So given this scenario and our extensive dependence on fossil fuel, even we are now producing the most expensive electricity by using fossil fuel. So we actually missed many buses because we had a chance to go for renewable energy, but we thought that it is perhaps not feasible for us, because the moment people started using solar by investing in that, there were indications of tax on that. And even in this budget, there are rumors or maybe reports, I am not sure yet, that they are going to tax at full rate even cars used electric cars or hybrid or whatever solar panels you buy. If this is correct, then obviously our problem at state level will remain public utility things. If they are not being supplied at affordable rates, everything will go up, because electricity is used almost in every industry now, or whatever, even shopkeepers they use, and they pass on this burden to consumer. For this, I don't think they have any answer, because energy crisis we have failed to solve for many decades now. The only option is now that we should also privatize it, and government should go out of the business of electricity, as they rightly did in the case of PIA, which was a white elephant.
Well, you're right, because this energy sector is something where even today I was reading that there is almost over 5,000 billion rupees circular debt, and including 1,900 electricity, and the rest is of the gas. So do you think that while taxing the solar panels or the solar sector, the government wants to either to protect the existing these gencos, or those who are generating power, or these private sectors, or they want to generate more taxes under the direction of the IMF, that because there is a lot of revenue shortfall. As we are talking about, there is a fear that almost 100 over 100 I mean 1,000 billion shortfall is being expected in the current year, which is going to end this month.
Certainly, this is the most important part of the entire debate on budget or anything else in Pakistan. Since we have failed to solve the issues in energy sector, and it is bleeding permanently in the form of circular debt. And even if we don't produce electricity, we have to pay capacity charges to companies. So they are bound in a way that now the only option is that they should get rid of the entire electricity business, because if they will remain there, government by its inefficiencies is not able in Pakistan to actually carry out any business in public sector. We are not China, where public sector presence is beneficial because they have controls where the industries are efficient. Our main problem is that our government is highly inefficient, and our machinery, the monstrous machinery of the
So
government, we are now funding.
sorry to interrupt you. This is the most important part, of the entire discussion. That uh, over the years we have seen that the government's inefficiencies have been, putting a lot of burden on the common man or the entire population. Over the years we have seen that the country was facing a lot of, these budget deficits, and they have been going to the IMF and other world international financial institutions for the support. And at the end of the day, the entire burden is shifted uh, to the public. So how we can have efficient, governments, one, and second is that a kind of a finance ministry or the people who are in the planning, where they can have a policy, mm, that the people should get at the end of the day a relief.
Yes, I do. Very pertinent point was raised by you that, in fact, from a utility, they are minting money from fuel products or from electricity or from gas. The maximum taxes you will see they have imposed in these things, which is a strange policy that rather than making industry cost uh, productive and also cost efficient, they are even forcing the private sector to not to remain competitive. So on the one hand we talk about export-led growth, and on the other we are not decreasing the cost to the extent that they can compete with other competitors in the world. So this shows that there is something fundamentally wrong with the structural things, and that is the issue. If we keep on funding uh, inefficient government, even the authorities we established independent in the name that they will improve the governance, are now a big burden on the government and people. So the only option then remain is that we should either give these uh, institutions to private sector on lease, or government should completely come out of these. So I think even if you can't sell them at a good price at this moment, at least you can try to ask to open international and local bidding, that can they run it efficiently under some regulations. Of course, we are not saying that they should start looting the people, but under some regulations which are obviously according to international standards. So the only option is two. One, can they have good boards there and they can turn around? I think it is not possible, because nepotism and our culture is such that everywhere political interference will be there. In Sinogara, it is in Napa, everywhere. So the only option is that government should come out of it and give it to private sector. Secondly, they should also reduce the size of the government, and many unproductive properties like GORs and others. So in everywhere you will see that either they are minting money from utilities or petroleum products, which is a very bad thing in any society. In this crisis, Gulf crisis, many governments reduce their taxes to keep prices in check. But we have done the other way around. We have actually increased the quantum of petroleum levy, which is now going 100% into the pocket of federal government. And this is also by making GST zero rated. So how the federation is being run, that petrol is the main commodity, and everywhere it is used by compulsion, because we don't have any good public transport system. So people are compelled to use petrol, and on the other hand we are minting money on that. And the extent is now that it is something like 30 3% if you work it back. So 19% GST, which would have been 57.5% share for the provinces, we deprive them from that. And even with this 1.5 or whatever trillion, the fiscal deficit of the government will remain there. So this is, I mean, not losing game rather than winning and winning. So they will have to do some paradigm shift in their thinking and approach. Otherwise, this crisis will keep on going, and they will just like firefighting here and there.
PDL today, yes, at the moment, the government is taking 145 rupees on per liter, including 117 rupees PDL. And they have collected around 1350 billion rupees current year. And I was being told that the target that they have been it has been set by the IMF to the government of Pakistan is that they have to collect 17 and a half billion from the PDL. So it means that in the coming, months, and this the current the financial year which is going to start, 26, 27, the people will have a more expensive petroleum product than whatever they are buying at the moment.
Certainly, inflation number which they have projected, almost all the independent sources, including IMF, ADB, and World Bank, is not less than 10%. So they have asked the FBR that look, 10% is inflation, 3-4% you are saying is our GDP growth. So at least you should collect 50% more. So here is the catch. Even this FBR number is largely manipulated, that they have collected advances of next year, then they are not issuing refunds. So IMF is not going deeper into these things, because we are our own enemies. When we artificially show higher collection by FPR, naturally the next year 15% increase is always in terms of nominal value, because inflation on the average is 10% or 8-9% even in good days. But then their formula is very simple, that your inflation rate plus your growth rate plus 2-3% your own effort. So in this way, FPR is also now white elephant, because they are not doing anything and just sitting in their offices. They are getting about 95% of taxes automatically, either in the shape of withholding, advanced taxes, and now even they have taken over from Ministry of Production and Energy this petroleum levy. So they will keep on sitting and not doing some good work to assess actual untaxed wealth and asset and tax them. Rather than they will keep on getting these taxes, and these are inflationary. Because if you are asking me to actually have 4% on supplies of your goods, I will automatically include it in my prices. Therefore, what traders and wholesalers are doing, whatever tax you impose on them, they keep on passing it on the consumer. So FBR even don't realize, and Ministry of Finance, that their taxes are inflationary in the nature, that they are cost push factor. So Pakistan inflation is not demand pull, that there are more goods and people are purchasing, or they are less good and more money, but rather this is artificial. Even in electricity bills, you can see the number of taxes and surcharges they have added. And now petroleum levy, they have found another very easy tool to collect more and more money from the masses. So inflation is also taxation without legislation, and therefore the government is not only by number of taxes, but also through inflation is making a lot of money.
Uh, i- do you agree that the rich are not being taxed? It is always the poor, and those people, even the salaried class, has at the source, their salaries taxes are being deducted. So the people don't have a choice. In fact, on the other hand, that's at you were referring the energy sector, the petroleum, and then naturally they have an impact on the daily use products like wheat and then flour and then sugar and other daily use, even the milk, its price has gone even in Islamabad very high. So it means that the government, it finds an easy way to collect, to make the money, but they don't want to go after the rich people, those who are tax evader. And secondly, that they don't want to bring actual reform in the FBR, which is responsible for collecting the taxes and making a revenue for the government.
Certainly, the burden has been shifted to salaried class, and they have paid last year over 600 billion, which is an increase of over 65%. No other sector has increased their contribution. So it is very clear that wholesaler traders, they are passing their taxes on people. Although when you say that we are taking tax from you on your electricity bills, sale tax and income tax, advance tax, so they don't mind because they charge it to consumers. So real issue is whether we are taxing real income or not. I think only salaried persons are now paying tax on their real income. You can see rich doctors, rich lawyers, and you see their tax profile. They are frightening because the state has lost its capacity to tax the people on their real income. First, they were hooked on easy presumptive taxes, then they started minimum taxes, now withholding taxes and taxes with utilities. So, this is the entire debate's crux, that FBR over the period of time has become a lazy organization. Not only that, their nature of taxes is, as I mentioned, inflationary and putting many middle class peoples and poor people to the level of going further down. So this is very strange that people sitting in parliament, when finance bill comes to them, they can't see that what is happening, or they are happy that at least they are getting whatever they want. So the marriage of convenience is there, that so long you don't tax them, you don't tax absentee landowners, and you don't tax their real incomes, they are happy that even if burden is shifted mainly to poor classes or middle classes now. So this is
Okay.
very strange in Pakistan.
Okay. Mr. Ikram, you have been dealing with the taxes, for a long time. Kindly tell me that if somebody, if I'm a sugar owner, a sugar mill owner, and I'm being taxed when I'm, moving out my product to the middleman or to the market, then the tax which is imposed, like the GST tax or any other taxes which are being imposed on the sugar, is it correct that the end user who is going to buy the sugar will pay all the taxes which are being paid, starting from the factory owner, by the retailer?
Certainly, it is correct that the nature of taxes we have imposed at such a high rate, that there are two incentives. One, they are making a lot of money by not depositing the true sale tax to the government. This is very beneficial for the businessmen, because if they know that this is illegal enrichment, and if we save this 18% of tax, it will make us richer and richer. So on the one hand, there is a great fraud on treasury, that a lot of people don't deposit the correct tax. Secondly, wherever they are charging, they are not paying from their own pocket. This is a pass on item. But if you see their returns, they are just paying turnover tax. Their losses are, it is easier to manage losses in corporations and companies uh, by even lawful tax planning, that you have arranged your things in such a manner that you show more expenses than your income. Because if the 10 directors are taking huge salary, so they will pay tax as a salaried person, and company entire profit will go into their salaries, and there is no mechanism that we can stop them. But what they are making is huge profits, as you have very rightly mentioned, that all kind of taxes we have imposed at a higher rate have two very bad effects. One, they are actually a burden on the pockets of common people who use them, and for them it is they usually such taxes take a very large chunk of people with lower incomes, and very few burden on people having huge income. So this is always problem, as now we can see that if a poor person or if a student going to college, he has 1 liter of petrol and paying 107 or 120 rupees per liter, it's a huge on his pocket. But for a person who's driving Prado, maybe it is very having a very few effect on his
Okay,
overall
okay. Dr. Ikram,
resources.
is it possible, do you think that we can get out of IMF?
Certainly, it is not that difficult, but the issue is that for that we will have to have fiscal discipline of the kind that we stop importing many goods that we don't need, and secondly we start exporting something, and these two are difficult things. So difficult things are people don't do now, because for a long time they are hooked on easy money, and this is not only true for government or government officials, but private sector over the period of time has become a rent seeker, because you haven't given them a chance to actually compete. So there are monopolies or subsidies, like we fail to export cars, but rather we are just importing in SKD or in a form. Rather than by this time, if protection was given to car industry, I'm just taking one example of a sector, and certainly we have examples around us where they are exporting the cars actually. So whatever foreign direct investments you take, this is important that they produce something which is exportable surplus. So we haven't been able to even have this kind of nationalist policies, that if some foreigner is coming, he should first transfer the technology. Second, he should train our people, and third, he or whosoever investor is, he must produce some exportable surplus. So only then FDI is productive. Otherwise, it's another burden on us, and this is what has actually happened. Now, our outflows from profits of companies. They brought some money to Pakistan, but they are minting a lot of money from here and sending it back. So economy as a whole is suffering even on this account as well. So what I will say, that our policies are self-defeating, and unless we change the direction of our policies, this is not the issue of consistencies of policies. We have exploitative policies for a long time and very consistent. So people say that our problem is inconsistencies in policies, but I think that our direction of policies are wrong.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ikram Haq, economist and tax lawyer. Thank you for your time, please.